Hopefully you can all hear me. If you can't, obviously, then you would not have heard me say hello. Okay. So, a couple of things. I know that some rogue questions have been asked. So I will answer those, but the questions were not specific, so those will have to be raised again. And since I see Trinity here, then that makes it so that she can throw those back out because she is she's a rogue lead. How about that? Okay. So I also want to, and Mirror's here too. And see, yep, there he is. Okay, how about that? All right, great. So both both rogue leads here, so you can throw out the questions. So before I answer those, because those are important, and so we will take care of that. But first thing I want to do is I want to go over a very little known type of elf, the star elf. I know that a few of you out there know about them, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there a little bit. Yes, they're the ones who build the spelljammers. Actually, spelljammers are alive. Those ships, you'll see two of them. You'll see two of them above me. In the I set up a little astral sea, and so the star elves breed the spelljammer ships, and so that makes them relatively interesting, especially considering the fact that out there we do encounter Illithid, and the only ones who are more, well, equally have equal hatred for the Illithid than the Dark Elves are Star Elves. Excuse me. Now, I want to bring up a point real fast, is that Star Elves are a subdivision, just like Dark Elves. They are a subdivision of the Niflvar. Okay, it's like when the crossing happened, and you started out with three elven races, right? When the crossing happened, they all subdivided. The two that came from Niflvar, three technically, three. The three races that came from Niflvar were the Dark Elves, Star Elves, and then, of course, the Banshee. Those three came from the Niflvar. Now, the Star Elves retain the appearance of the Niflvar, whereas Dark Elves are opposite in looks. Star Elves have the same basic appearance. They have pure white skin, blue eyes, and black hair. Okay. which is what dark elves looked like originally, before um, and before the queen at the time made a deal with the chthonic beings and messed us all up. So, but star elves do not. So star elves do not have all the sadomasochism or uh, need to kill or any of that dark elves have. But they do retain their 99% mind control resistance. Okay? Just like dark elves do, because they are in constant war with the Illithid and have developed themselves to do that. They travel the astral and occasionally the ethereal planes on their living ships, basically policing the astral plane for the Illithid. And so there's a constant struggle there. Before I move on to rogues, I know that that's just a quick down and dirty. But are there any questions about the Star Elves? Okay. Didn't figure there would be a whole lot because not many people even know about them, let alone have expressed an interest. But I thought I'd bring it up because sometimes you may meet one or two occasionally. Uh, Sage, are you a star elf? Well, okay, there you go. How about that? We got one in the room. Yes, that is the yes, star elves actually they live on the astral plane. They have a floating city that just floats in the astral plane, and that is where they that is where they hail from. It is extremely hidden. You can't get there unless you are invited. But yes, um, occasionally I do classes on elves. Occasionally I have a row entirely devoted to elves because it's one of my favorite topics. So I will certainly discuss more about all that. But since you are a star elf, do you have any questions? Which actually brings up an interesting point why you're thinking of Steve. Now you can ask, before we get into rogues, I wanted to talk about Star Elves today, but I don't have a whole lot of information to give out to people that are not interested. But hey, you're a Star Elf, you should be interested. So we've discussed companions and familiars and stuff for that are particularly attuned to a race. Yes, we're going to talk about rogues. That's my big thing. That's what we're going to discuss in a minute because I want people to ask questions. But the innate companions that star elves are akin to are displacer beasts. So for those of you that know what those are the owlbears, as an owlbear is to a dark elf or a griffin is to a high elf, displacer beast is to a star elf. Okay. No. Well, I mean they look like Black Panthers with tentacles that coming out of their shoulders. So they could be cuddly. um, that is a matter of personal taste. It is not out of the realm of possibility. You could, you know, and and their tentacles, so that you know, do not have suckers on them like a squid. They have hooks on them. Okay, they have whereas a squid or an octopus have like these rows and rows of suckers on their tentacles. A displacer beast has a little hook in place of each one of those tentacles. Effectively, they kind of do the same thing. They hold on to a thing, but displacer beast kind of tears apart what they're throwing, grabbing. Yes, like rippers. I know that there is a type of octopus that does the same thing. Um, I right now it's escaping me, but it is certainly um, the case and has potential. Anyway, um, that's something I thought that would be of interest as well. Yes, that is very true. Okay, now, while you're mulling over the questions that you might possess about Star Elves, let's go ahead and talk about. Let's go ahead and throw the rogue stuff out. Since I have both rogue leads here, that makes it even easier and better. Go ahead and throw me the questions that you build is, yeah, and at least one of your rogues, yes. Right. And so that's a bonus. Okay. So, they, okay, cool. Okay, orichalcum is an anti-magic metal. Okay, it is very, very rare, and it disrupts magical effects. The when commonly a rogues that encounter magical beings often uh, grind it up into dust and use it as like escape powder. Okay, it's quite effective for that, and you can interrupt spell casting if you throw orichalcum dust on a person. You could also coat yourself with it and make yourself uh, not detectable by magic temporarily. Yes, lead and iron are much more common and do have some magic dampening effects. You're right, but compared to orichalcum, they are very minor. But you are correct; they both do have some. You know, All right, did I answer your question about orichalcum? Metallurgist is a good skill to have. There are very few of them in the GA, so and mages, by the way, can use all of those things. Just because they're anti magic does not mean that a mage who is holding it is prevented from spellcasting. Okay. Now, if they're coated in the dust, then it's gonna that can mess up their spellcasting. But just having it in their hand does not do it. Okay. Yes, you are correct. If you happen to have an orichalcum mace, orichalcum does not make good sharp weapons. Just so you know, it does not sharpen well. Um, pretty much at all by in its pure form. But yes, an orichalcum mace would go through a mage shield just like it was not there. Okay. You would be better off having a regular shield versus an orichalcum mace. A mage shield is going to have zero effect. Now, were that lead or iron, it would not be like that because yes, lead and iron both have some effect, some anti magic effect, but not enough to penetrate a mage shield any more than anything else would. But iron dust or lead dust does have have the chance of interrupting spellcasting. It's much slower than orichalcum, but it does exist. And as was mentioned, it's much more common to get. Orichalcum is extremely rare. Okay. Any more questions? Okay. Ha ha ha. Yes. I'm going to do that too. I there is something else that I want to talk about as we're discussing things today. I want to talk about Pokas, and so do not let me forget to bring that up. If I forget, somebody remind me. Okay. Uh, yes. Rogues. Thank you for bringing that up. Rogues do not use shadow magic. However, they if if you once you become mage hunter, should that be a choice that you make, rogues make awesome shadow magic users because they're already sneaky. And yes, there you are correct. There is a hybrid that falls in those falls in that. And yes, rogues in general are tool users. Okay. Um, like Batman or Robin or that line of individuals. They fall, and of course, technically, in our game, Batman would be a vigilante because he is a hybrid. I mean, he is a paragon, but you get the point. Yep, Mandalorian, excellent example. Also, um, these are rogues are tool users. And then they're an excellent step towards the Paragon that would include like Batman and the Mandalorian, and um, the list could be really long, but those are good examples. But yes, there is a rogue mage hybrid that uses shadow magic. Rogues themselves they're the ones who play with the toys. Where does he get all those toys? And yes, that is correct. Yep, that's right. My balloons. It was a good scene. Love it. That's right. Where do they get a load of me? Okay. More rogue questions. Throw them out there. By the way, as a rogue, I do highly suggest that you maintain climbing claws, 50-foot rope, caltrops, and whatever kind of escape dust is in your uh, tools. Yeah, sand, excellent choice. um, yeah, there are. Yep, chili powder, another really really good choice. Okay, another good one for your pack would be a blowgun, because there are a vast array of poisons that you could have uh, access to. Ranger is a rogue hybrid, so absolutely true. Where a ranger is basically a forest or non-city, non-urban rogue. Yes, there are many of the dusts. Chili powder being one good example. Cinnamon, oh my gosh, cinnamon is an excellent weapon versus uh, people with really good noses like wolves. Bard is a rogue hybrid also. Okay. They do get the full array, but at 2 levels below below a regular rogue. Okay. Because a bard is a jack of all trades. Well, the reason I look at two levels because they also have druid, mage, and a little bit of warrior. Okay, so they have a much broader. They have a much broader toolbox. So you know, in order to make sense of the fact that they can do so many things, they are two levels below anyone else. But in addition, something that no one else has is they have musical ability, which has a lot of things that add to it. So just because you're two levels below someone else in their skill set, you have bards have their own skill sets. But yes, hide in shadows, climb walls, um, sap, uh, and then backstab. Those are all abilities that fall under rogues. Disguise, uh, vanish. Yep, that is you need in order to use some of those, like vanish, for example. You have to have the tools. Like if you forget to bring your vanishing powder, which there are a variety of of vanishing powders, calcum being just one of the many. If you forget to bring your calcum powder, you can't use vanish. Example, if you want to knock somebody out from behind and you forgot your sap, guess what? You can't do it. Smoke bombs, excellent choices. And I have described before how you can make smoke bombs. And so those are potential things that you can have access to. Yeah, there are many, many really good tools. Okay. So while you guys are thinking about more rogue questions, I'm going to talk a little bit about puka. Okay. Puka are a dark fae type that they look like clowns. Okay. Their their base form, their standard form, they look like clowns, like jesters, like harlequins. Okay? But they are not good guys. All right. Puka are often considered to be quite evil, but they are your the epitome of your evil clown. Yep. Pennywise, the Joker. Um, if the Joker was not just a human, um, although he's been transformed, he's been all messed up. Maybe he is a puka. Swith. That's where I was going with that. If anyone knows Swith, shoot, Joker would take out Pennywise in a heartbeat. Pennywise may be magic, but the Joker is truly evil. Pennywise just eats people. Harley Quinn. Okay. Yep. Okay. So, all right. Now you know what a puka looks like. All right. Now on top of that, um, puka can all. They also have. Um, they have two things that makes them, aside from looking like a clown, they have two things that make them relatively unique. Number one is that they have the phase illusion ability. Okay, so they can look like anybody at any time. Obviously, not specific people, but not themselves. You know, so even though they normally look like a clown, they can cast their illusion and just look like Billy Bob or Joe Blow or Sammy Jane, whatever. And they can shapeshift into a horse. Okay? That's their other ability. Now, they can't fly like Fae can, like some of the Faes can. Okay? Um, unless they're in horse form. Now, like I said, they can shapeshift into a horse, and that horse can walk on water or fly. Okay? And how many of you are familiar with a nightmare? Anyone? Everyone knows what a nightmare looks like? Okay, cool. A puka's horse form looks like a green nightmare. Okay? So when they shapeshift into their horse, they basically look like a green nightmare. That was funny. Um, so, and of course, since they are clowns, then they are almost always rogues, you know, and not always, you know, because they have the chance to be priest, mage, warrior, but the vast array choose rogue as their class. Okay, and something else is they feed on emotion. Okay, so they can eat like anybody else. Okay, but they feed on emotion. Um, so there's one of the reasons why they're clowns is they can be really, really scary or really, really not. You know, so if you see some clown juggling around, do do do, and everybody's watching them and clapping and yay, hey, it might be a puka, and they're being fed by the crowd. Okay, when you know people are clapping and saying yay, they're feeding it. They're feeding that puka, but they also get fed from terror. Okay, so they and less of a it's not less of a feed. So if you're being terrorized by a clown with a butcher knife chasing you into the hall of mirrors, you know, your fear is feeding him or her in the case of Swift. Okay. So, any questions about Puka? Yeah, they would wear Aussie. on the meter. Remember, they cannot fly, but unless they're in horse form. Yes, they should definitely be on the shapeshifter's note card because they can shift. They only have one form, but it's still shifting. You know. Yep. I've seen a horse fly, but I ain't never seen an elephant fly. All right. Um, questions on Star Elves, Puka, Rogues? Nice. Got a blood cap working on spell sword. So red cap, right? Because red cap is the race. Very cool. Makes absolute sense to me. Okay. Any other questions so far? Doon, 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 doon. Yeah, that's all pretty good. Special stuff. Yes, there are many things that are my fault, and I fully take responsibility for all things that are my fault. Okay. That is the city in the astral plane that Star Elves hail from. Answer to your question there. And different books, different worlds, different series is it has a different name, but it's always the same thing. Okay. You know, no. Star elves are Terran beings. It's just, but they um huh, good point there. Well, I'm gonna have to say they're Terran because an outsider, if you kill them, then they get sent back to their plane of origin. A star elf, if a star elf dies, then a star elf's dead. Okay, they don't get sent back like to the astral plane. Okay, does that make sense? Because one of the things that separates a Terran from an outsider is if an outsider is killed on the Terran plane, they get sent back to their plane of origin. A Githyanki is is a is actually a subdivision of the Star Elf that were corrupted by the chthonic entities. Okay, just like how dark elves were corrupted by chthonic entities because of Loth, the Githyanki basically same thing, kind of thing happened with them from Star Elves. Okay. Yeah, you definitely always ask questions, because there are people that um, they have the question, but they either don't answer it or they don't think of the question till later. So if you think of the question, even if you think you know, go ahead and ask. Yes, goblins are actually related to the Fae. Regardless of, I know that Fae would not like to hear that, but they are. They are Fae folk. They are Fae kin. Yes. Just like elves. Elves are Fae kin too. So it's wearing goblin makes right? Okay. Okay. Yes. As far as orichalcum powder goes, yes, you could walk right through a ward or a shield, and you would not be detected by magic if you're coated in orichalcum dust. That is correct. Now that doesn't stop anything else. Like you know if they have a wall of fire up, that is you'll be protected from the magic. Yes, but actual flame is not going to help you whatsoever. You just do burn to a crisp. Does that answer your question? Yes, goblin definitely stay with goblin as far as the red cap goes, because red cap is a type of goblin. Yes, goblin is technically fake in, but you know, stay with goblin. Or calcum slippers would be excellent choices to walk across the wards that are just on the ground. You are correct. They wouldn't be very quiet, but you could because they are metal. But yeah, that works. That's true. It doesn't matter if it's divine magic or arcane. Orichalcum is an anti magic metal. And Mirror is correct. Elemental attacks are created with magic. They're not magic themselves. Now, there are some exceptions like arcane bolt, okay, or witch bolt, or magic missile. There are some magic weapons that are or magic effects that are actually just pure magic. All right, they're not elemental. A fireball is a fireball, or a talcum dust is not going to protect you from the fireball. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Actually, since Sage just spoke, um, anyone know what a displacer beast's power is? Nope, that's a blink dog. Blink dog has teleportation. They are the arc enemies. Yep, they have they they have blur. Basically, when you look at a displacer beast, if it's using its powers, it looks like three or four or five, maybe even six versions of itself. Okay, and you don't know which one is the actual one. Mirror image. That is exactly correct. That's the spell they cast. Mirror image is the name of it. You are correct. Hey, baby displacer beast. Sitting it. That would be funny. Very cool. That would be. That would be. Yep. They see, like owlbears are to dark elves, like displacer beasts are to star elves, and griffin are to high elves. You know. Sure. Yeah. If there's any questions, this is a this is a good time to throw those out. And for those of you that didn't catch the memo, the spells that we're using right now, those are the base level spells. As we, as players and crafters, uh, are able to expand upon that, we will. No worries. I I'll be closing it around that time because I don't. I know I keep you guys here forever a lot of times. Those are gradual, okay? Because as you know, a level one spellcaster is not going to have six spells, you know, um, of high levels. Now, you can have, I'm not sure if that is set up so that you can, that the spells level up. Um, if it is, then by all means. But I didn't think they do. No. Okay. So some of them do. There's your answer. Some of them level up and some of them don't. The ones that level up, then they can start uh those can start lower levels. Okay. So just look at your stuff, you know, look at those lists. That's that's what I thought. That's what I had heard. The single targets level up, but the AoEs do not. Right. All the above. Essentially, I know that Echo and Argo have um, data mined that so that everyone, and I've had a lot of input into it. When you pick your spells, you cannot choose all AoEs. That's the way it's designed. You get, um, you basically get um, one from each category. That's the best way to put it. Like there's a direct damage and AoE splash. There, you get as you level up, you get one from each category. So there you go. He just showed you an example of one of the ones that level up. Okay. I know there probably are a lot of questions about magic in that we are looking at, so this is your time to throw them out there. Um, the flavor spells are most important. Yes, the leveling architecture we have been. Yes, exactly. They the leveling architecture we are working on that, and so that's why we're running tests to make it so that it's a it's simple and streamlined. You know, I know that the row is an encyclopedia, but it's actually fairly simple and streamlined. You know, it could be considerably more chaotic, as they say. Okay, go ahead. What's your question about Paragon magic? I assume. And since you are a paladin, it probably is paladin-ish, right? Okay. Um, uh, level 4 Paragon. That's correct. He just answered your question. Yeah, actually, we have been talking about how that's going to work, but as it stands right now, um, the we want to maintain that a Paragon is still one level below a guild lead. Unless, of course, that guild lead is a Paragon. But, you know, to give the advantage of of responsibility, etc., to that guild lead. Yeah, that's correct. We get up. That's right. We get up to level 9 as Paragon, like I was saying earlier, one level below Guild Lead. But that's max Paragon. Okay. Yes, but they can go up to 9. Doom, 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 doom. That's right. You get to 3 and then you don't have to take 4. That's right.
Malikith, did you get that part there? What Pellinor was suggesting we look at? So essentially, in our Maxim ranks,
Okay.
I, like if I'm a warrior and I go into training for Maxim, and our current Maxim ranks are basically 1 through 3 equals a level. Essentially, I have a note card on it that I could show. So
Yeah.
for
Right.
those 1 to 3 levels in Maxim, let's say it takes me as a normal warrior doing all my role plays, training, classes, whatever, it takes around 3 months. Yet someone that's wanting a Paragon, instead of studying in 2 separate guilds, they essentially study in one guild, but they study twice the amount of time, twice the amount of work, twice the amount of homework, twice the amount of training in both categories along those lines. And then that way it streamlines the Paragons so they're not so confusing, where people are bouncing from one guild to another guild and then going from one rank to another rank, having 1 meter for one thing, having 1 meter for another thing.
So what you're asking, what you're talking about, is basically training both classes concurrently. That's what you're talking about in order to get to Paragon. Yes, go ahead. Right. Yes. And he is exactly correct. Paragons, the reason Paragons are set up the way they are is because they are for a player who has gone as far as they want with their tune, okay, and they want to go and they need someplace else to go with it, okay, and then that gives them some place to go with it. If if a player joins the GA with that thought in mind, gear them, point them towards a hybrid that fits in with what they want, okay, and then if they go through that hybrid and they really like it, and they um, and they stick around long enough to be a Paragon, more power to them. Okay, but if a player arrives already thinking in those multi-class thought patterns, then push them towards a hybrid that fits with what they're thinking. Don't already start them out thinking, okay, you're good. I want to be a Paragon. Excuse me. Um, I'm looking at Pelly's question here. I think I'm still not understanding the question then. But because as far as running all of them at the same time, no. I don't. That defeats the whole purpose of why we made Paragons. Doom, 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 doom. Right. Because we have been around a while, okay, and Paragons were designed for those players who have been around a while and they want to do more, and this allows them the ability to do that. Exactly. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, she did. She said it answered her question. She was just trying to consider alternate means because of how the system of Maxim currently is. It does make it a pain for Paragons. It really does. There's no question about that. We did realize that, and we did look at other options. Um, but yeah, Nif said it really well too. About
It
the
is exactly
this
correct.
yeah, it's rough. Um, going to the new system and trying to figure out keeping our methods the way they are, GA methods. Some things we have had to relax on, some things
Yep.
we have had to adjust, but at the core, we are still going to keep
Well,
our core GA stuff.
yeah, we are. And what Mir just wrote is accurate. I think that that's the best way to do it. Because it just shows you, you know, that 7, 8, 9. That's there you are.
It also doesn't mean that there may not be a way as well, Pellinor. It's just a matter of we just have to figure out a process that wouldn't take away from what the essential creation and reason for Paragons even being is there for, I think. So that could be the more difficult part. So don't take off the thinking cap on it. Keep coming at us with suggestions. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, that is true. But basically, that's where we're going to be where we are. And what Mir just said is correct. They need to be, worth the work because they are not for the brand new player who walks through the door. You know, it's an end game. Exactly. It's an end game class. That's exactly correct. You've been there, you've done that, and this is your t-shirt, you know? So when new people walk through the door, if people are thinking that's what they want to do, point them towards a hybrid is that matches the best of what they're thinking. Okay, like say someone comes in and says, I really like paladin. I want to I want to be a paladin. That looks like so cool. All right. Well, then you say, okay, all right. Let's let's look at what hybrid would fit you, or maybe you should go cleric. Okay, because ultimately you're going to need cleric to hit paladin anyway, and clerics can wear armor and smack people with weapons inside the head. You know, so when people come at you that way, then set them down and point towards something that matches best towards what they would like. Because paragons are, as I think it was Sage said, they're end game. Okay, they're the T-shirt that you get to wear for having done all the awesome things that you've done. Yes. Ithrin is extremely thorough. That's why I always, plug when we're talking about mages. I always give Ithrin a plug because shoot, it takes forever to get through their ranks, and it's not because somebody's just being a jerk. It's because they are being thorough. Okay. Mhm. Yeah, we have made a few changes over the years because some things, made sense and some things didn't. Just like in the like 10 years ago, Paladin wasn't even a Paragon. It was a base class. And then when Paragons became a thing, I switched Paladins over to Paragon because it made a whole lot more sense. You know, Cavalier is the non Paragon equivalent. They don't have casting, but you could that's why Cavaliers and clerics are the common denominator that usually equals Paragon. So if someone already has Paladin in their head, yes, exactly. If someone has Paladin in their head, point them to Cavalier and or Cleric. A Centaur Paladin is the bomb. You know, we have never had any centaurs that stay around. Yeah, we've had lots of centaurs, but none that have actually stayed around long enough to hit Paragon. People usually, most centaurs end up being alts. There we go. you know, yeah, that was. I have to say that was good too. That is good. Okay. Any other questions about any of the things that we've talked about? Star elves or rogues or puka or magic. Eh, Puka are cool. Yep. It's a good word, too, man. I mean, how fun is that to say? Puka. It's just a fun word to say. It's like monkeys. I like saying that too. Yes, that actually brings up a really good point. I have a role play that I need Puka for. So, if you know any people out there that are interested in playing a clown, I have a role play that I need Puka to do it. So if anyone happens to fall into that mindset where they would like to play an evil clown, have them contact Echo. All right, and then once he gets enough Puka, then I will roll that out. I'll roll that role play out. It has a lot of fun potential, but I need Puka to do it. And if you want to, advertise with among your peers, hey, you like clowns? Say, get a load of me. Then hey, contact Echo. A Puka. Puka. Yeah, polka dot Puka. Absolutely. Polka dots go with clowns anyway, right? And polka music. You got a clown with tambourine and another one with shoot what my brain's suddenly clicked off. What's that instrument that has the it's like a there he goes. Thank you. Yeah, an accordion. We got some puka bards with accordions and wearing polka dots. That'd be hilarious. There you go. Oh, the yep, the music box. That's a good one too. Actually, someone in here has the brass monkey, and the brass monkey does that. Does the monkey dance from the organ grinder? It's that is one of the things that little monkey does. Okay, so any other questions? Why you got me? I'm gonna shut this down in just a few minutes because I'm sorry, but I need a cigarette. I got my coffee, but hey, that's only one step. All right. Quick confirm about Bards. I'm listening. Okay. Um, once a Bard hits level 3, they can speak to animals. So the thing about Bards is once you hit level 3, you can do what all of your subsequent, what your mixes, all of the classes that make you up. Once you hit level 3, you can do what all of them can at their base levels. Okay, that includes speak to animals. A 6 in maximum, yes. And a Master Bard, which is level 4, gets Shapeshift, like druids. They only get one form, though, just so you know. Like a Poka. That's right. Guild Lead Bard gets battle res. That is correct. Chief Bard gets battle res. Yeah, some things you're not meant to know. Are there any more Bard questions? Yeah, Bard is subclass of Rogue, so he still falls under. Yeah, you might want to talk to her about that on a personal note sometime if you really want to. Okay. Um, yeah, if you weren't around for those role plays, maybe you maybe you should consider yourself lucky. All right. So, last call. Then go for it. You should give her a you should give her a call. Last call for alcohol, people. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Or at least you guys can stay here, but I won't be. All right. All right. Speaking of Atal Maru, I hear his staff is being sought out again. Yes. Gotta find the Chancellor. So that's definitely some interesting rolling forward there. Okay. I'm not seeing more questions. Rogues, this is your last chance. Did I answer all the things? Yeah. There are 40, I know of at least 40 role plays called Staff of Atomaru. So they'll just be added onto that list. Okay. All right. There we go. Bell DOS for your attendance. Been doused for now.